Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another episode of Tia's Table. I'm Tia, a certified group fitness instructor and nutrition coach. I help women develop healthy habits that align with their health, wellness, and fitness goals. If you're interested in joining our very next challenge over in the app, feel free to email me at tiavfitness@gmail.com, or you can always message me on Instagram at tiavfitness. Girl, hey, how are you? Just ran up here to call you really quick. School pickup is looming. I can see it. It's my next thing on my list of things to do today. So let's see if we can get this in before I've got to go pick my baby up from school. We have something very interesting to talk about today. And I am wondering how people feel and think about these two particular things we're going to talk about, because they've been interesting to me. Well, not the actual subject matter. I don't think I even thought about this until I started reading people's comments online. But then once I saw people's comments, I'm like, ooh, this is very interesting to me. And I would like to discuss this with my girls to see if they feel the same way I do, or if they feel the way the people in these comments do. No judgment from me either way, but I would love to just hear what people think about what we're going to discuss today. But before we get into any of that, let's talk about what's on my table today. I have been eating oat bran for the past couple of mornings for breakfast because, it's about to be, I think, real fall here in Atlanta. Like next week, I see where the temperatures are going to take a dip. And I think that is the beginning of what we will refer to as actual real fall. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think it's official next week, right? So I've been eating oat bran, not to be confused with oatmeal. Oat bran is milled a little more. So it's like a finer texture of oats. It has the same taste, of course, but it's like creamier. When you cook it, it's like creamier, which is neither here nor there. We don't care about the texture or the taste because we're going to make it taste like whatever we want it to taste like. But the nutrition numbers on the oat bran are just so good, I had to tell everybody about it. So when you're in the grocery store, if you're looking at the Bob's Red Mill, oatmeal section, if your grocery store has it, you'll notice that brand has maybe 4 or 5 different types of oatmeal. But then you'll notice a smaller bag of oat bran. And the oat bran will say something on the front of it like high fiber breakfast or whatever it says. But that's the one that I'm talking about today. So I have been using my Torani sugar-free brown sugar cinnamon syrup to sweeten my oatmeal, because that's like a 0-calorie, no sugar way to get some flavor into everything. I also use that in my coffee, but I've been using that to sweeten my oat bran every morning. And then I've been having it with a chopped up banana and some chopped up strawberries. And it has been so good. But the main reason I bring it up, it is low in protein, right? So for the people who are going to message me and be like, oh, but it doesn't have any protein. Sometimes, girl, you can't care about that. Sometimes you just have to eat things because it is comforting to you. And then sometimes you have to eat things because, girl, it's got a lot of fiber in it. And this particular meal, the oat bran with the banana and the strawberries, is such a high fiber meal that it should get your systems revving, if you know what I'm saying, at the beginning of the day. Now, what I noticed about getting fiber in is that if I don't start my day with what I consider to be a high amount of fiber, then I'm probably not going to get as much in throughout the rest of the day. And that's only because I feel like, number one, fruit just goes with breakfast. And I'm not a big fruit eater all throughout the day. I have to actually think about it and make a deliberate choice to select fruit if I get hungry at the end of the day, or if I get hungry in the afternoon. I don't naturally gravitate towards fruit, and fruit has a lot of fiber. Now, I do eat a lot of vegetables, But what I have learned about that for myself, this might not be the case for everybody, but for myself, I noticed like, you eat a lot of vegetables. You would think that those vegetables would have way more fiber in them. And for whatever the reason, I feel like the fiber that you get from vegetables doesn't do me the same way as the fiber that I get from fruit. And I don't know why that is, but this is another good example of why it's so important to learn like your own body and to know what your body responds to. So like if I'm ever feeling like, like I'm having a little trouble when I'm on the porcelain pony, it's probably because I need to eat more fruit. And that is also exactly why I have this issue when we go on vacation. Now, if you're a girl who goes on vacation and you tend to get a little constipated, or you feel like your metabolism slows down, or basically you're just not pooping when you go on trips, it's probably because your fiber intake has dropped significantly. And that is not something that I realized until I would say maybe last week. Like as I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, this is probably why I have that problem whenever I'm not home, because when I'm not home, I'm eating whatever, I have access to or whatever restaurants have. And I'm definitely not eating fruit when I'm not home, which makes so much sense to me now. So now I know the next time I go somewhere and I'm going to be gone for several days in a row, like I have got to make sure I eat fruit. But you know what my issue with that is? And I hate to sound a little particular, because we do stay at really nice places when we do decide to go somewhere. So I don't think it's the quality of the fruit that I take issue with. I think the issue that I have with fruit when I'm not at home is that a lot of times, no matter where you stay, they'll offer some type of breakfast situation, right? And a lot of times, either the fruit that they bring to you when they bring you your food is a very small amount, or it's something that I wouldn't necessarily choose for myself, like grapes. Like I'm not a grape girl, but restaurants are real good for giving you some grapes, right? I also don't want apples from a restaurant. Like I just don't. So if I do get fruit, I want to have like watermelon, cantaloupe, oranges, or strawberries, a banana that has not been peeled. So see, and then that gets me, because then sometimes you go to resorts or wherever and they'll have like a breakfast buffet situation in the morning. And while I'm not a buffet girly, a buffet is never going to be my first choice. I do understand that you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And when restaurants have it, even like when you go on a cruise, right? They'll have like fruit out there. And I'm always kind of like, ooh, no, I have issues and feelings surrounding fruit that has just been sitting out here that more than just my hands have grazed over. And that is why I don't take in as much fruit, therefore as much fiber when I'm away from home. So that's something I have to work on and figure out. But totally solved that problem for myself last week through eating the oat bran, because I'm like, ooh, this is good, but I can't do the oat bran every day. The oat bran is strong, especially if you're already somebody who is kind of regular, or let's say you take probiotics or prebiotics or whatever. If you do not have an issue going to the bathroom like at all, proceed with caution, eat at your own risk with the oat bran. Don't say that I didn't tell you. But if you feel like you need a little jump start, you want to start your week off because maybe you ate, whatever you wanted to on the weekend, and you feel like you want to start Monday off just kind of like naturally, like letting things flow again, girl, grab you some oat bran, put your favorite food in there. I would also put blueberries in it if I had some, because I just love blueberries. But yeah, put your fruit in there, sweeten it with some sugar-free Torani, and get your whole life this fall. You will not regret it. I also picked up some sourdough English muffins the last time I went grocery shopping, and I didn't know what I expected from them. I just knew that I wanted to try to recreate the English muffin chicken thing that you get from Chick-fil-A in the mornings. So I grabbed that sourdough English muffin, and I've been air frying mine because it's
cold. Or are those things supposed to stay frozen? Ooh, girl, I don't know. Was it in the refrigerated section when I bought it? Were those things frozen when I bought them? Either way, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Mine are in the refrigerator, in the crisper drawer. I don't know if that's where they're supposed to be, but that's where I've been keeping them. And I've been air frying them in the morning to kind of quote unquote toast them. They are so good. Like, when I mean to tell you they are good, they're almost that kind of scary good that you were better off not knowing about. They are delicious. They are amazing. I have been eating them with egg whites, like topped them with egg whites. I have topped them with salmon, smoked salmon. I've had them with chicken sausage. They are amazing. And if you are in your store and you see them, now, what is the brand name? Because we all know I did not write that piece down. But if you're in your grocery store and you see English muffins that are sourdough English muffins, and I want to say the brand might be Ray's or Bay's or something like that, girl, grab them. Give them a shot. Because they are so, 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 so good that I literally have to make myself not eat them every morning for breakfast now. I have to make the choice to say, oh no, we're going to have our oat bran today, or today we're going to have something else for breakfast, cereal, whatever. You cannot, Tia. I could have the sourdough English muffin every morning, but I'm like, no, Tia, you're supposed to be eating a variety of things. Try not to get hung up on one thing and only eat that one thing for the next 3 months. And then I won't want to see any type of English muffin for 6 months. So I'm trying to be better about not eating something to the point where I can't even look at it anymore. And I could see where this could easily become one of those things because they are just so good. So give them a shot. If you've been craving a biscuit in the morning or some type of breakfast sandwich, girl, get these and then put whatever you want on it and then tell me about how good it is. And also tell me what's on your breakfast sandwich, because I would like to try something other than smoked salmon and chicken sausage with egg whites. So that's what we're eating lately that we are loving. Let's get into the main topic of this call today. And before we get started, I just want to say that, no pun intended, but the truth hurts, right? The truth can be hurtful sometimes. And I know this call won't be for everybody. I know the girls that hang out here, the girls that are in our group of girlfriends, we may not necessarily be this way, but because it is such a large group of us, this is maybe for the one or two that may have gone astray down the dark side of the internet. Or maybe these are just things that you think and feelings that you have, and I'm genuinely interested in why. How do you arrive at these thoughts and feelings? Please share them with me, because I would truly like to learn from you as someone who does not share that same opinion. Let us start with our good sis, Lizzo. Now, Lizzo has recently lost a considerable and noticeable amount of weight, right? And I have been seeing all types of comments online about Lizzo and her weight loss and what she looks like now. And I have been baffled by these comments, thoughts and feelings and opinions, because I was under the impression that Lizzo was always pretty. I did not know that there was a segment of the population that looked at her and thought she was unattractive. Now, I think what people do, or what they have been doing, is that they have been confusing someone with being quote unquote out of shape with their level of attractiveness. And to that I say, and I ask, how do you get the two of those confused? Because I see Lizzo and I always thought she was pretty. Other people apparently have always been looking at the same Lizzo, but did not see the face that I saw. They did not see what I saw. And even before she lost the weight, I thought Lizzo looked good. Now, that is not to say, because we are going to keep it a buck over here, with her weight loss, and I don't know how much weight she's lost, but it's noticeable, it's noticeable change. Her results are noticeable. That girl looks even better than what she did before. And I could not help but sit there and think to myself, well, I don't know what Lizzo's goal is fitness-wise. I mean, first of all, she was always in shape to be able to sing, dance, perform, play the flute, moving around. Like, it was never an issue of whether she was in shape. People probably just didn't like that she was, quote unquote, overweight, which is something that people talk about all the time. Like, I know that there are people out there who will just flat out disregard what someone looks like solely based off the fact that the person might be overweight. And I think that is what happened with Lizzo. Even though it was clear that Lizzo was in good well, it appears when she performs that she's in good physical condition. Like, she's able to do that for hours, like night after night after night after night, which is not something people who present to be in good physical shape could do because they have not trained to do it. Let's not let that little point escape us as we continue this conversation. You can look out of shape, but very much so be in top physical shape, right? You can look like what people assume to be like a healthy size and not be able to walk a flight of steps without losing your breath, right? You can also be smaller, be in a smaller body, and be unattractive, right? Because I know if we're going to be real good girlfriends during this call, we know that just because you are small, it does not also mean you are attractive or pretty or whatever, right? That is why the whole conversation, or, when people were in her comments saying things, I was thinking to myself, well, who were you guys looking at before? Because she was always very much so pretty to me. Like Lizzo's face, the natural face, I'm not talking about like her made up face with makeup, although when she does put on makeup and like all of that, she's even prettier. And some girls are just born that way. I think they are God's favorite. She's one of those people who, even when she doesn't have on makeup, like she has really great skin, and she just has a beautiful face. So it was never about her level of attractiveness. I think people were just writing her off because of her size. And if you are one of my girlfriends on this call and you were doing that, please come to the front, because girl, that is wrong, right? You got to be fair. Like, if you're going to give out face cards, you need to give them out to the people that deserve them. And Lizzo always deserved her face card. She did. She did. Why that has been lost on some people, I don't know. But I think I was able to crack the code on what is really bothering people. And it was never Lizzo's body shape. It was never her shape. And it's not the fact that she is pretty, right? It's not that. Now you put a pin in that, because I'm going to give out what's wrong with people after I give out this next example. Now, let's look at our next, sister in fitness, Tia Mowry. Tia, as we know, has recently gone through a divorce, and it's been like all over social media, right? After her divorce, Tia started being more present on social media. She started posting TikToks, like dancing, like reels, lip syncing, doing some funny social media content, kind of poking fun at herself and just having fun. Like, you can tell she's really just having fun, like showing us outfits of the day and different things she's eating, basically just living her life and sharing snippets of it online like a lot of us do, right? People in the comments are always bringing up the fact that they feel like her divorce is like her fault, right? They bring up the fact that I guess maybe Tia should not be like posting content for social media. She should not be having the time of her life. Like, she should not be doing all of these things. People even go so far as to say that her content gives them the ick. I have seen people say that she was annoying. I have seen people just say they were flat out bothered by her recent post online. And as someone who watches her, and I mean, I could be biased because I grew up in the era of Sister Sister where I planted my bottom in front of that TV every week to see what her and her sister were up to. So I could be biased, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I would love to know what about her content gives people the ick, or what about her sharing these little small pieces of her big life. What about that do people find annoying? Like, what about her personality bothers people? I really would like to know. And again, it's like no judgment at all. Trust me when I tell you, I will not, but I would really like for somebody to slide into my DMs and say like, hey, I listened to the podcast and you want to know what people don't like. This is what I don't like about her content, or what you perceive her to be, right? That is very interesting to me, because at first I really thought that it was her divorce, and the fact that people thought her divorce was like her choosing. People were really bothered by that, which I don't understand that either, because I'm like, shouldn't we be supporting her if she say something ain't working for her no more? So she's moving on. Like, isn't that what we be telling men to do? Like, just leave me, but don't drag me through the mud. Instead of dragging that man through the mud, or instead of dragging herself through the mud, it ain't got nothing to do with him. Instead of dragging herself through the mud, she decided, no. And I watched the first episode of her show because I needed to see what people were so upset and bothered about, and had them all like writing these think pieces online. And I watched it, and she basically said, which, I mean, I can somewhat kind of relate to this, but also maybe not, because I am not a famous person. But she says she was not allowed to date until she was 18. She met him when I think she was like 20 or 21 or whatever. They got married, I'm assuming when she was 25, because she says she lost her virginity to him when she was 25, right? And then they had been married ever since. She had never dated anyone else. That one man was the only man she has ever been in a relationship with. And prior to that relationship, she lived at home with her siblings and her parents. So we don't know what happened like within their relationship. Like I said, we're only on episode 1, and I don't even know if this show is going to get into the particulars of exactly what she was experiencing. But just if I'm using my context clues, if I may, I think what ended up happening is that she had a really big, bright personality, the personality that we're all seeing now on social media. That must be who she really is. But in that relationship, she felt like she could not be that. So she decided to end the relationship because, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's exhausting being someone that you're not. Even though you're doing it for what we will say is a good reason, right? To be in love and like have your family together and all of that, right? Which, that being a good reason is, we could argue about that all day. But I understand where she was coming from when she says that, okay? Because I too got married when I was young. I mean, my husband was not my first boyfriend or anything like that, but I understand what she's saying. She got married in her 20s and now she's in her 40s, and she feels like she never got to be who she was, because she was always adapting to either some character on TV or maybe who her parents wanted her to be, and then who her husband wanted it to be. And so, see, then the thing about that is, I think, based on what I have seen of episode 1 so far, is that is where she drew the line for herself and said, now I can act when I'm on TV. I can act when I'm in a movie. I don't want to have to act when I'm at home, meaning I'm acting like someone else. Okay? So now let's bring Lizzo back into the conversation. So I think what has happened with these two women in particular, even though that they are both in different places in their lives, they are both dealing with separate issues, but they are getting the same kind of like pushback from people, or the same kind of like bad energy back from just living their lives in a way that makes them happy, is just that. It is my opinion that the people who have a problem with them either like losing weight and being super happy, therefore she's just on social media more, and the people who are upset that she got out of her very long marriage and is now on social media like dancing, having a great time, and like living her life, those people just aren't familiar, or they just don't like, or they are bothered by, annoyed by. It gives them the ick when they see unapologetically like free and happy Black girls. That for whatever reason that bothers you. And maybe it bothers you because you have just never seen it. It is foreign to you. And it could be that it's foreign to a lot of us. Like maybe a lot of us grew up, maybe you grew up under a certain amount of rules, or with really strict parents, or like whatever. So a part of your upbringing, you maybe had to, play the game, as I like to say it. You had to play the game. Let me do what these people, my parents, are asking me to do. Let me not break any rules so that I can continue to thrive in this household, right? And then when I'm an adult, I will do what I want to do and be who I want to be. But the problem with that is, if you have been living by someone else's rules for you, or if you have had your personality stifled at all as you were coming of age, then chances are when you are an adult, you're going to have a hard time tapping into who your true sense of self is. You just are, because you haven't practiced being who you want to be and showing up how you want to. So when I'm seeing people say things like, oh, this gives me the ick, or I'm so annoyed by her, or her personality is annoying, yada, 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 I'm like, do you not realize that this girl has waited 40-something years just to be herself, even though she's been herself for 40-something years? So the bravery and the courage, and I'm pretty sure the healing that comes along with them finally getting to be who they have always been in their minds, is so extremely freeing for them, only for the same community who has lifted them up all this time. Like, we've been listening to their music and watching their shows, all for us to be like, or not us, because it's not me, girl, it's one of y'all, for you guys to be like, oh no, like, ooh, no. Like, we wanted you to be on TV, and we don't mind you popping up on social media, as often as you want to, but you can't be so free that I can see and feel your happiness. Like, I don't want to see and feel your happiness, because maybe that shows me an area in my life where I am not so free and I'm not so happy, or maybe I'm not so unapologetic. Like, how dare these two women show up on social media being exactly who they are? Now, in Lizzo's case, Lizzo has always, in my opinion, shown up as herself. Like, I don't ever think she for 1 second let what people were saying about her keep her from being who she was, but I don't think it was without a struggle and a fight. Like, and even she has spoken about that online, about how she'll take breaks because people just got her all the way messed up, or she'll have to step away from like posting content or like being so public facing because of the things people say to her. And that to me is really sad. And I know people give famous people like a hard time, because maybe in our minds we think, oh, the fact that you're famous and you are what we assume to be financially set should kind of override like all the petty stuff that people say to you. Like, you shouldn't have any feelings because you're rich and famous. And I'm like, no, at the end of the day, these people are still people. Like, Tia Mowry is still a mom, just like a lot of us. She still has to go to work, just like a lot of us. She still has things that she has to worry about and think about, just like a lot of us. And she still wants to live her life and be very openly happy, just like a lot of us. But I think the thing that has thrown people off is the kind of like, well, how dare she? Now, there is a movement I've noticed. Can we call it a movement? I guess it's a movement. I don't know if it's official. It might be, and I'm just not tapped into the right sides of algorithms on different apps, but it could be, or at least I feel as if I'm starting to notice a shift where more women online are starting to show like the really, really good parts of their life. And they're starting to really tap into the really, really good parts of their lives and share that with people without fear of the blowback, right? And I think some of the blowback comes from maybe envy, I think some of the blowback does come from the fact that people are still stifled in their own lives. So it's just unfamiliar to them to see someone living so openly in their happiness. And I think people also miss the fact that if these women have been feeling trapped for one reason or the other, that they now feel really free. And so they're trying to express that freedom like creatively. And I'm pretty certain that it's hurtful to do that, for you to finally feel like, ooh, I can finally be myself. Like that lifts such a big, heavy burden off of me to pretend that I'm someone that I'm not. Like now I very much so feel like myself, and I'm presenting myself to the world like myself, right? But to hear people say now that like, you don't like my real self, like you don't like the real me, I'm sure that is extremely hurtful. I'm sure that is extremely hurtful. And I wonder how many of us are living maybe not as openly happy or as like guilt-free as we would like to, because we're afraid of people either like judging us, or people saying we're too much, or people saying we're extra, or people thinking that you're just trying to flex, or like whatever. And because of that, you just continue to like not shine your light so bright. You shine it just enough. You're more like a flashlight. Maybe you're more like a night light, but you dare not to ever be a chandelier, because you don't want people telling you that your bulbs shine too bright. You don't want them dimming you. Therefore, you just don't ever turn up your brightness all the way to begin with. And I think that is what gives people the ick. And that is what annoys them. And that is what they find to be, bothersome. And then I think there is just a set of the population who just can't even fathom that would be a problem. And that, I think, is a fair argument for this. If you're living a life that feels just so far from this even being something that you care about, think about on a daily basis, then I think that's fair, because that says to me that you've got bigger fish to fry. So you're not worried about what either one of these women are going through, because your life, your real life problems are so much bigger than this. And I think even with that, even with being vocal about that and showing different ways of like living and different ways of thinking about things, I think that is important. And maybe we should be putting more of that on social media too. Maybe we should be, so that people can identify with both. You identify and you relate to, you can encourage and maybe support, share resources to people who are like, oh my gosh, I have bigger fish to fry than this. Or we could do the same for women who feel like, yeah, like I'm at a place in my life where I could be living to the best of my ability, but for whatever reason, I'm still having a hard time showing up as myself in the world, because both of them are sad. Both situations are sad. Now, why this struck a chord with me was because when I was growing up, I definitely had like lots of rules, lots of things that I was not allowed to do. And I really didn't start like doing stuff that I wanted to do until I went to college. But even then, when you're raised to not like bring a certain level of shame amongst your family, you still kind of function and operate within the realm of which people expect for you to do. And on the one hand, I think that's healthy. Like, I think like, yeah, parents give you rules and parents put a certain level of like standards on you, so that you kind of stay on the straight and narrow. And so I get that. Like as a parent, I do kind of get it. I still don't like the strategy, but I get the premise of where parents were possibly going with that. But I think what they don't realize is when you do that, you stifle a person in so many different ways, and it takes a long time for people to come out of that. One of the things that I have always admired about people who seem to have really successful children, or one of the things that I've noticed about people who tend to have really successful children who also seem like mentally healthy and like emotionally healthy, is that those parents never tried to change who their kids were at the core of who they were. Like they never tried to change them. They always kind of allowed them to be themselves, no matter what that looked like. They supported it, they encouraged it, and they kind of rode whatever wave their child was on. And I noticed that those kids ultimately end up being very comfortable with themselves as they turn into adults, which means that when they go out into the world and they're making different decisions about who they want to be and how they want to show up in the world, they always stay very true to themselves. It's not like they ever need to, really evolve or like rebrand, if you will, like once they turn a certain age, because they've always been exactly who they were, right? Now, I would like to insert myself into this conversation as an example. Like I was saying, my parents did have a lot of rules for me growing up. So then when I went to college, I definitely started like hanging out, doing whatever I wanted to do, right? And maybe part of this conversation is something that we will carry over to my other number at another time, girl, and I will give some more details about this, but let's just do the long story short version over here. When I got to college, definitely started hanging out and doing things like college kids do, right? Having a blast. Got out of college. When I graduated from college, I was already married. I got married my last semester of my senior year, right? Which was very, very young. But I got married. Fast forward to now, I'm 40, and I'm just now taking a breath or like holding my head up above water to be like, you know what? You're actually a completely different person. The public facing you, which, and this is not the case for every single person that has met me. I would like to believe that I am the same online as I am in person. However, there is another side of me that has never seen the light of day. And I have been very slow to be that full version of myself because I'm like, oh, I don't want people to think like I'm all of a sudden crazy, or like I don't want people to be like, who is this person? Or like, what are you going through? Like, you must be going through something. And it's kind of like, no, I'm not going through anything. This is who I always was. And this is who I probably would have been just naturally had you all not like dimmed my light by way of like rules, you know? And rules are not bad. Rules can be good. But I think the pressure to be whatever, and I think a lot of Black girls live within that pressure, like to be a certain thing, right? Maybe had that pressure not been so great, I would have been the much fuller version of myself way before 40. But since most of us don't really get to be who we truly are until about 40, here we are. And this is what Tia is trying to show everybody. Like however old she is. She might be 43, 44, I don't know. And she's just now getting to be the fun, young-spirited, carefree person that she has always been. Now, I joke a lot that like, oh my gosh, truly deep down inside, I'm Joan Clayton, like the fun Joan Clayton that dresses up for like every single last holiday that is on a calendar, right? I joke that is truly who I am, but really it's not even a joke. Like it's kind of who I am. It's kind of like who I would like to actually be more of in real life. If not for the fact that, like I said, I think people would be like, my gosh, she's crazy or whatever. whatever they would say. And because we as people don't like for people to say bad, negative, or mean things about us, we allow even something like that to kind of dim our light. Now, people have said like, oh, once you're in your 40s, you don't care anymore. And you do just become more of yourself. And I do feel like that's true. I do feel like I can feel like a shift happening in me. But that is not to say that I still don't think about, because I have been conditioned to do so. I still think about how other people are going to respond to it. And I'm working really hard on just being and doing me without necessarily caring about anything else. Because you know what? You know what I have also noticed, friends, is that the people who put all that pressure on you, or the people who tried to like put you in a box, the people who wanted to see you turn out a certain way, even if it was good intentions, right? And their hearts were in the right place. Do you know those people are living their life how they want to? Do you know that? And they probably always have been. They themselves, whether they're in boxes or not, we'll never know, because I feel like people from other generations don't really talk and express and communicate, but they are probably living their lives as they would like to at the point that they are in their current life. And when I think about it, I'm like, well, I don't want to wait until I'm like retired and like old before I start finally being myself. My gosh, my life might be closer to being over than I realize at that point. I want to start being me while I still have the cognitive ability to remember it, for one, but then for two, while I can still really do it and enjoy it. And it feels like fun, right? I want to show up and be me, just like Lizzo and Tia, unapologetically like free and happy, without the guilt or without the, maybe shame or people thinking you're quirky. Like I even saw people online saying that about her too, that they felt like her quirky personality bothered them, like it triggered them. And I'm like, oh, it just bothers you to see a happy Black girl that's not like worried about what y'all are gonna say. Like all of us don't have to be either like stuck up or mean or like carrying around an invisible attitude, like waiting for the moment to like pop off on somebody. All of us, number one, all of us are just not like that. And then number two, why would you want to walk around with all that stress in your body? Walking around with all that stress in your body, like walking around with that attitude that can't nobody see and we don't even know why you got it, it's not going to help you reach your goals, girl. Like it's going to mess up your sleep. It's going to mess up your metabolism. It's going to mess up your gut health. You got to stop walking around with that, whatever that thing is that they really think all Black girls have. And I'm like, no, we all don't have it. Like we all don't got it. We all were not born mean girls. I guess just to put it plainly, all of us, I would say the majority of us, many of us, at least all of the women that I know and have had the chance to meet and get to know and like and love, very few of the women that I've ever come into contact with in my life have been that way. Now, have some of them been that way? Yes. And I know that probably comes from maybe how they grew up, life experiences that they've had. And like I said before, I think that that's fair because you're only a product of the environment that you were raised in, right? So that's fair. But for the ones who are just like mean just cuz, and you just don't like people just cuz, or you think that people's personalities are too quirky or they give you the ick or whatever just because, please DM me and explain that to me. You can do a voice note so you don't have to type it all out, because I would really like to understand where that comes from. I really would, because it's very rare that I'm around somebody, and I'm very sensitive to other people's energies. And it's very rare that I'm around somebody and I think to myself like, ooh, her happy personality gets on my nerves. Like never. If anything, I will admit that I have been guilty of the opposite. When I'm around somebody and I can instantly tell like she's one of those girls who's just got an attitude for no reason, or she's just one of those girls that dislikes people for no reason, that I'm kind of like, ooh, yeah, like what's going on here? Like, help me. And maybe the next time I'm around one of those kind of girls, I should ask. I should say, what is it about so and so that bothers you? Because once you start saying it out loud, we wouldn't have to necessarily say it to each other. But once you start sending me your messages explaining this to me, I guarantee you, you will probably say to yourself, oh, this is going to make me sound like a hater. And not that I would say that to you, because I'm a nice girl and I'm a girl's girl. And like I said, I wouldn't judge you if that's how you felt. But oftentimes I've noticed that once you start saying something out loud or you start typing it out to somebody, you say to yourself like, dang, that makes me sound like so-and-so. Then if you are a person who is doing the work on yourself, you'll have a self-reflective moment and you'll say, well, am I like that? Because that's what I would do. I would be like, oh, well, am I? Is this how I am? Certainly that's not who I am. And that is some food for thought. Yes, it is. But I have found both of those just to be very interesting. I think it showed me a lot about how people think and feel. Just seeing how people responded to the first episode of Tia's new show and seeing how people responded to Lizzo losing weight. Because that girl was fine anyway. And I just don't understand how y'all are just now seeing that. I really don't. And if you don't believe me, please go back, scroll down Lizzo's Instagram feed and take a moment. Look at her face as you scroll up, because you'll be able to see where she was starting to post her fitness stuff and showing that she was working out and all these things. You'll be able to watch her results and how she's changed. Her body may have changed and her body has definitely gotten smaller, but her face still looks how it always did. And it's still pretty. And I'm sorry to break that to you. Like I said before, I don't know what her ultimate goal is, but when she reaches it, that's going to give some of y'all a hard time. That's going to be a bad day for some of y'all. You're not going to be able to handle it because maybe you were comfortable with her being pretty in a bigger body because somehow maybe that makes some people feel better about themselves. But, for her to be pretty, but thick and curvy in a smaller body, that's really going to give some of y'all a hard time. It just is, and I'm sorry about that for you. But the good news is that between now and whenever that happens, you have the time to do the self-work that is involved with letting it not bother you. She deserves to be happy, and she deserves to really love her body, and most importantly, she deserves to be healthy. And how do people know that she hasn't been, told by a doctor that, yeah, this is something we should do and try to work on? She could be doing what is ultimately just better for her. And maybe for her, it's not even about being in a smaller body. It's about just being in a healthier one. We don't know. And that's why you shouldn't be writing in that girl's comments, saying anything to her about anything. If you can't just be like, dang, girl, you look good, keep it moving, keep it scrolling. If when you see Tia dancing on Instagram, you can't be like, oh my gosh, this is cute or this is funny or whatever, just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. Because if you were going through either one of their situations, I'm pretty sure, we would want the same level of support, love, and encouragement that they're hoping to get by sharing their stories. Because neither one of those things is easy to do and share it online. So that's that. If you need to DM me on Instagram, you can do that at Tia V Fitness. Like I said, you can write a message or you can do an audio note because I would love to be educated on someone else's perspective about all of this. Yeah, okay. Moving right along to the workout report. I've still been walking. I'm getting my 15,000 steps a day. It has been time consuming, but great. I do think, though, that I'm going to have to go ahead and figure out how to make my way back to the gym. And I say that because I weighed myself the other day and I'm back into the 150s. finally. And I might sit here for a while. Like, it's very difficult for me to like lose weight quick, right? So, and I'm fine. Like, I'm actually very happy and I'm fine with what I look like today. If anything, I think the more lean I get, if I can do that without sacrificing so much weight loss, that would probably make me very happy and I would be at a very sweet spot for myself. So if I could maybe only lose like maybe 5 more pounds, give or take, that's probably where I need to stay, like for the rest of my life. But see, the thing with that is, if I decided to do that, which I'm in the process of doing it. So as I do that, I just have to be very careful about not losing too much weight, because I don't want to be like super, super small or tiny. I just want more of my lean muscle mass to show. So I'm riding like a fine line right here. But in order for that to happen, I know I'm going to have to go back to the gym. And I'm trying to figure out when that needs to take place. When I think about it, I'm like, okay, truly, we're really kind of only talking about having to go to the gym one day out of the week. And when I go, I want to be able to do leg day, and I want to be able to hit like a couple back exercises. That's it. We're talking about maybe being at the gym for like an hour, because I'm not doing cardio there. I'm still going to do cardio at home or outside or whatever. Excuse me. But because of that, I'm like, if I know I only have to do 1 hour, I need to pick one day out of the week, go do that, and then just be done. I know I don't want to go at peak time at like 9 a.m. when I used to go, because I used to go right after school drop off. I know I don't want to go then. And I know I don't want to necessarily wait and go in the afternoon before school pickup either. Which brings me to the very difficult decision of quite possibly going in the morning before I start the Get Dressed Express. Now, I have been practicing waking up at 4 here lately. Even if I don't get up, like I just let my alarm clock go off at 4 and I go ahead and I wake up. I might not get up, but I wake up. Some mornings, if I'm feeling it, I've been allowing myself to go ahead and get up, and I go downstairs and I get on the treadmill and I go ahead and start getting steps in for the day, right? And it hasn't been so bad. Some of the mornings it's not so bad. Some of the mornings I'm like, but definitely what I notice is that on the days where I do wake up super early like that, I am tired. I'm tired. And I even look tired. Like, I've been trying to do my little eye patches and everything. And I'm like, ooh, the eye patches, they're not patching enough for me. I mean, I look like what I've been through when I get up that early in the morning. But I'm like, I think I can do it for just once a week. This is not like we're doing this every day. This is truly once a week, Tia. You would have to get up, drive that 15 minutes to the gym, get that 1 hour workout in, and then come home and start the Get Dressed Express. And I think I can do it. The main reason why I don't want to go to the gym like at 9 a.m. or like during the day period is because I remember my gym friends from back when I was going to the gym. And they're a chatty little bunch. And now that I've had time to think about it, I'm like, going to the gym is not so bad. But my time is what I'm trying to hold on to. So when I go during the day, I'm like, ooh, you're on the treadmill, I'm listening to my music, and someone wants to come say hello. So now I'm pausing my music and I don't get mad about a lot of things. A lot of things don't rile me up like me having to pause my music when I'm exercising, especially like if I'm in a good groove. Like, yes. So that bothers me, but at the same time, like I am nice. I'm not mean. So if you come say hello to me, I'm going to say hello, give you the greeting of the day. Hey, how are you? Like, whatever. Right? So that's why I don't want to go at 9 a.m. because I feel like the people that go at 9, they are not pressed about anything. That retirement demographic of people, They are jolly. They are happy. They have nowhere to be. It is a leisure workout for them. Like they are there just because. Whereas I am there because I need to work out. Then I need to get out of here because I have other things I've got to move on and do before school pickup happens after 2:00, right? So I'm trying to figure out what time to go. And I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be like super early in the morning like that. And what I think is going to work about that is that the day that I do decide to get up and go, I can go over there, come home, get everybody ready for school. And then after I get everyone to school, then I can do my cardio. And I would ultimately still end up finishing my workout at the same time that I do even when I work out here at home. Because right now, I'm not finishing my workout until about 10:30 every day. And it would be the same thing. Maybe I would finish somewhere between 10 and 10:15. If this schedule ends up being the one that I select. So I might get 15 minutes back in my day, but what is 15 minutes? When you have so much to do in such a little bit amount of time. I don't know. So I'll keep you updated on what ends up happening with that. I'm kind of excited about the results that I'll see from going to the gym. And I know somebody is thinking, ooh, once a week, that's going to be enough for change. Yes, I walk enough now that I can already see like the dimples in my lats coming back. Like I can already see that the muscle is starting to poke through. I just need heavier weights and I just need to stay on top of my food and my walking. And because I don't want to bulk up, like we've talked about this 8 million times already, but because I don't want to bulk up again, I know that I don't need to train that much. Like I don't need to strength train heavy like that often. I can literally go once a week, hit lower body, hit what I want to for my back, keep all of my strength training the same as it has been at home, and that should be really good. But then also the Pilates studio that I became a member of that is still in the construction process, they're supposed to open on Halloween. And so I also have to kind of start planning for that too and figuring out like what days of the week am I going to go to Pilates. They have reformer classes. They have like TRX. They have all kinds of things over there for us to do and try. And so going over there will become a high priority of mine because I'm paying a membership fee for it. I'm locked in for 3 months. And for that 3 months, I really want to try as many classes and instructors as I can. So I don't know if that's something that I want to do, in 2025 or not. But I've been keeping that in the back of my mind too. Like, oh, you need to start going back to the gym at least once a week. But then also these Pilates classes will start. And then if you keep doing the strength training stuff that you do at home, like that should be a good variety and a good enough mix of things to keep things interesting and fun, to keep me like in the groove of doing things. But it should also be a nice little routine that should continue to give me the type of results that I want, which is just a much leaner figure without getting too small. Like I don't want to get too small. And I feel like right now where I'm at is like a good place. If I could just like vacuum seal it just a smidge more, I will consider 75 hard and this walking challenge to be exactly what I personally needed to help me get to where I wanted to be. So yay for that. That is the workout report. Let's talk about some of the random things that I have seen before I go get the baby from school. I watched Nobody Wants This. It is on Netflix starring Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. That show was good, you guys. It's dry humor, but Kristen Bell is so good. And if you watch The Good Place, you know she's good and she's funny and like her comedic timing is just so good. And the rest of the cast that they've put around her, also just like an amazing cast of actors. That show is worth the watch. Please consider checking it out. It is about Kristen's character who has a podcast with her sister. Kristen meets a rabbi and they start dating. and it kind of just goes from there. So good. And the way that it ends, it definitely is a cliffhanger ending, which I kind of hate that shows do that, because with the way shows are now, you never know if they're going to bring the show back. So I'm like, at least wrap it up for us at the end of the season, just in case y'all decide not to bring the show back for a season 2. But that show was really good. I also, like I said, I watched My Next Act with Tia Mowry. Now that is being streamed through All Black on Amazon Prime. So if you haven't seen it, or if you don't, like if you're like me and you don't have cable, that is how you get access to that show. And to me, it was very worth the watch. Now, I will go ahead and say there are a lot of tears on episode 1. It's a lot of crying on episode 1, but it's okay. We got to let the good sis process her emotions and move through things. But it was great. I feel like I learned a lot, and I got to see a lot of her, a lot of her that we don't get to see. Because like I said, we do see the happy, joyful, dancing woman online. We don't necessarily see the Tia that we saw on the show. So watch that if you have not seen it. Something else that I just found to be very interesting, it was because I like documentaries of all kinds. I don't care what it's about. I watched the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix. Y'all know Vince McMahon. I don't know. I have all brothers, and I have a lot of them. And they watched WWF and Monday Night Raw, WWE. I grew up under WrestleMania and them wrestling with the cages and the chairs and the stuff where you used to have to order it on pay-per-view sometimes. We definitely had that on TV in my house. And so to watch his documentary, I found it to be kind of insightful, maybe not in the best of ways. Vince McMahon has been accused of some very serious things, and I'm just trying to figure out why he didn't get in trouble. Like, how does that happen that people are accused of certain, crimes, and for whatever reason, they're not brought to justice over them? And I don't know if it's because of who the accusers were or what, but even in the documentary, they kind of glazed over that. Like, they kind of mentioned it in, I think it's the second episode of the docuseries. They mention it, and then after that, you just kind of don't hear any more about it. But they do bring in, all of the big-name wrestlers that were big during that time. Cold Stone Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, The Rock. What's his name? Brett, you know who I'm talking about. Him. Was Randy Savage, Macho Man Randy Savage, did they bring him on there? I don't know. If they did, I missed him. The Undertaker was on there. John Cena was on there. They bring, back all the big names, and all of those people kind of talk about their experience working with Vince McMahon and being a part of such a big thing in pop culture. So if you are interested in that at all, I would check it out. I found it to be very, very enlightening, like I said, because I had no idea all of that went into the world of wrestling. And I still have my questions about why he did not get arrested, or why he didn't get in trouble for some of the stuff that he was accused of doing. Lastly, I would like to talk about Beyonce and the CMAs, because that is another topic that I have seen all over my timelines that I'm just kind of not understanding people's take on that. Now, we know Cowboy Carter, she said in her own words, it was not a country album, it was a Beyonce album. And I think what she meant by that was, this music sounds like the music that I would normally put out. Like it is country, but like Beyonce-fied, right? And I totally understood what she was saying when she said that. But then again, I am a member of the Hive, so I got it. You don't have to explain that to me. When the CMAs came out, the nominations, and she wasn't nominated for one, that really struck a chord with a lot of people. Do I think she deserved to be nominated? Yes. Was I expecting them to nominate her and recognize her for that album? No. They weren't going to nominate her, number one, because they don't like her. They don't like her. And it kind of fits into what we were talking about earlier. Explain to me why you don't like her. And then once you start talking, you're going to realize you're just racist, right? So they didn't nominate her because they don't like her. They didn't nominate her because that album steps on their toes. If you listen to the lyrics and the songs, she's very much so talking about how she's proud to be a Black woman that comes from the country. She's very much so saying Black people created country music. I am the daughter of a moonshine man. It doesn't get much more country than me. And I'm going to make a country album that is so good that it'll hit the country charts, which means it is in fact country. But you're not going to recognize it as being country because you just don't like me that much. So see, if you are a Beyonce fan and you've been around for quite some time, she just won. The fact that they did not nominate her is the point she was trying to make this whole time. Let me show you how much they don't like me. Let me show you why it's been hard for Black people to enter into the country world, because I am Beyonce. And you can say what you want to about that. But she was saying, like, I am Beyonce. And if I can't get them to recognize, a whole country album, then, that says a lot about them and their selection process and how they're really going about selecting people. And so then you will have people say, oh, but they nominated Shabuzi for the Everybody in the Club Getting Tipsy. Or that's not the name of the song, but we know that as Everybody in the Club Getting Tipsy. Y'all know what song I'm talking about. They'll say, oh, but they nominated him. And it's like, yeah, they nominated him, and he is a Black man who has, I think, one of the longest chart-topping singles in the history of country music right now with that song. Very true. But if we just think about that for a second, he has one of the longest chart-topping country music songs of all time. It is to a hip-hop beat from a rap song. He changed the lyrics on it. He's singing it in a bar full of people who are not Black. They widely accepted it because it is a fun party, like, drinking song. It is, so they accepted it. And in their minds, I know they're probably thinking, well, that, we're not racist because we nominated him. And it's like, yeah, you did. But, and I know somebody might come for me after I say this, but we didn't know who Shabuzi was until he was on Cowboy Carter. So again, she won. She won. Because all she was trying to do was prove her influence. It was never about her winning an actual award. It was never about her being able to put a CMA on her mantle, which I'm sure that would have been nice for her and her collection of awards. But the fact that someone who millions of people didn't know about until he was on Cowboy Carter is nominated and has a very, popular, successful single right now is all of the award that she needed. And I just wanted to clear that up for people who may have been confused about any of the CMA drama. That to know her or to be a fan of her, because I don't know her, but to be a fan of hers, she's won. If she never wins another Grammy, and when she sings about that, like, AOTY ain't win, she doesn't care. She has sung about this more than once. That really, album of the year doesn't mean as much to her as I think it means to us. Like, as fans, we want to see her be recognized for albums and music that we think have really changed the culture of music. We want her to be recognized in that way. But for her, she's like, nah, the influence, the fact that right now you can go on the Levi's website and buy Beyonce Levi jeans, she already won. The fact that she sang about Tiffany diamonds and she had a deal with Tiffany when Renaissance was out, she already won. The fact that she sings about on both Renaissance and Cowboy Carter, she sings about whiskey and drinking and having a good time and like all of that. And then she releases Sir Davis, named after her grandfather, and it's apparently an award-winning whiskey. I myself have not tasted it yet, and I have an interesting story about that I think I'm going to tell on my other number 2. But she's already won. Like, in her mind, she has already won. She doesn't need any of these additional, like, accolades. She's already won because of how she puts out work and because of how all of her work is connected, and about how, if you really have been a fan of hers, you know that nothing is just, like, done. Like, nothing is just happenstance. Like, everything is done with a purpose and a reason, and it is all connected in some way. Please, she has already won. So you guys don't have to be so, aggressive on your keyboards, writing think pieces about why Beyonce didn't get a CMA nomination, or what you think about the Country Music Awards, or any of that, because I don't think she cares. And in her mind, she knows she has already won, because right now you can't escape her. She's everywhere. She's everywhere. And that, to me, is kind of what being a mega icon superstar person is all about. You have already won. There's not anything else you can get above having an impact on culture and your fan base. So, I don't know. I thought all of that was very interesting to me. Well, now, girl, I think we have come to the end of this call for today. I'm about to actually put some clothes in the dryer because I think I have time. And then I'm going to go get in the school pickup line and pick my baby up. Thanks for getting on the call today. Don't forget to message me. I'm serious about that. Don't forget to message me and help me understand where people are coming from with some of these takes and how you arrive at them. Because these women do not deserve the hate that they are getting, in my opinion. When you're out, compliment a woman. Say something nice. Girl, for that matter, when you're on the internet, in people's comments, say something nice. Compliment a woman. Make her feel good about herself. Don't compete. Don't compare. Don't complain. What God has for you is for you. And never knock another woman's hustle. All of that seems really fitting for today's call, I think. Thank you for checking out this episode of Tia's Table. I'll be back a lot sooner than you think. Don't forget to subscribe to my other number, because I will be calling you from that one soon, girl. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey, girl. Still there? You can get my other number by clicking on the link in the description box. Bye.